My dear friends in the Dhamma, pause for a moment, breathe, feel the stillness within you. Now ask yourself, what is the nature of your mind? Is it burning like fire, restless like a stormy river, or calm like a lotus pond? The great river of existence flows endlessly, carrying with it the joys and sorrows of countless beings. We are caught in its current, sometimes unaware of where it will lead us. But know this, when death approaches, when the final breath is drawn, your destination is not left to chance. It is determined by the state of your mind at that very moment. The last thought, the architect of your next life, at the moment of death. The mind becomes unimaginably powerful. It is as if all our past deeds, emotions, and intentions collapse into a single point. And what arises in that instant? Peace or turmoil, compassion or hatred, love or fear. This single thought is not random. It is the sum of everything we have cultivated throughout our lives, and it will decide where we go next. Let me share with you a story that is not just about one man, but about all of us. The story of the angry blacksmith in a quiet village. Nestled between rolling hills lived a blacksmith named Dhanuka. His hands were calloused from years of wielding the hammer, his face darkened by soot and sweat. He was known for his skill, but even more for his temper. A single mistake from his apprentices was enough to send him into a fit of rage, his voice roaring over the sound of clashing metal. One afternoon, as Dhanuka worked in his forge, shaping a stubborn piece of iron, a young monk happened to pass by. The rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil drew his attention, and he stepped inside, watching quietly. After a few moments, the monk spoke, his voice calm. "Sir, you strike the iron as if it has wronged you." Dhanuka barely glanced at him, sweat dripping from his brow. "Iron is tough. It won't bend unless you force it," the monk smiled. "And what about the heart, sir? Does it also need to be beaten into shape?" Dhanuka scowled. "What nonsense are you talking about, monk? This is my trade, my way," the monk bowed slightly. "Forgive me. I merely saw fire in your heart, a fire that, if left untamed, might consume more than just the iron before you." Dhanuka snorted and waved him away. "Go bother someone else with your riddles." But that night, the monk's words refused to leave him. Lying in bed, he stared at the wooden beams above, thinking about the times his anger had cost him. An apprentice who had left in tears, a wife who now spoke to him only when necessary, a son who avoided his presence. He justified it all, telling himself that the world was harsh and only the strong could survive. Years passed, and his temper did not improve. If anything, it worsened. The village children whispered about the blacksmith with the furious eyes. His apprentices came and went, never staying long. His wife grew distant, and his son eventually left the village, seeking a different life. Then one summer afternoon, as Dhanuka lifted his hammer for another strike, a sharp pain shot through his chest. His breath caught. The hammer slipped from his hand, clanging against the floor. He staggered, his vision blurring, his heart pounding erratically. For the first time in his life, he was afraid. As he collapsed onto the floor, gasping, a rush of memories flooded his mind. The faces of those he had hurt, the words he had spoken in anger, the silence that had grown around him. The fire inside him had not made him strong. It had only burned everything close to him. Lying there, alone in his forge, he finally understood. Some things do not bend under force. Some things, hearts, relationships, trust, must be shaped with patience, not fire. But realization had come too late. Seeing fire at the moment of death, Dhanuka's story is not unique. It is the story of every being who carries anger, hatred, or burning desire to the end. If, at the moment of death, your mind is ablaze with fire, the gates of the lower realms will open. This is not punishment from an external power. It is the law of cause and effect. Your mind is the architect of your next existence, but fire is not the only danger. Seeing water at the moment of death. What if, instead of fire, one sees water? A.e. Flowing river, a restless current. Water symbolizes change, movement, impermanence. But if, in that final moment, your thoughts are chaotic, grasping at illusions like water slipping through your fingers, you will be reborn in a state of confusion. You will drift into the realms of restless spirits or animals, caught in an endless current of desire and delusion. The mind, the creator of worlds. Our minds are like skilled artists, painting the landscapes of our next life. A mind consumed by fire creates a world of torment. A mind swept by chaotic waters creates a realm of confusion. A mind filled with loving kindness creates a world of peace. You do not need to wait until death to see where you are headed. Look at your mind now. Is there fire? Is there turbulence? Or is there clarity? Train your mind now, not later. Many people believe they will become peaceful at the moment of death. They think they will suddenly find serenity after a lifetime of anger, greed, or distraction. But this is an illusion. Your last thought will not be what you choose, it will be what you have cultivated every day of your life. If you have fed the fire of anger, it will burn you in the end. If you have allowed the river of delusion to sweep you away, it will carry you beyond your control. But if you have nurtured a mind of peace, love, and wisdom, then you will see light, not fire. Tranquility, not chaos. The supernatural power of mindfulness. The trained mind has a power beyond comprehension. It can transform fire into coolness. It can turn chaos into serenity. It can shift delusion into awakening. The Buddha did not teach to frighten us. He taught to awaken us, to show us that we hold the key to our own liberation. But the key is not found in mere belief. It is forged through practice. How to extinguish the fire within. Cultivate metta, loving kindness. Let your heart be like a lotus blooming on a calm pond, not a fire consuming itself. Practice mindfulness. Keep your thoughts steady like a serene lake, not a river rushing in confusion. Let go of anger and resentment. Do not carry fire within you. Forgive, release, and free yourself. Meditate daily. Purify your mind as you would cleanse your body. A clean mind leads to a peaceful death. Life is but a moment. Prepare now. Do not take this life lightly. Every thought, every intention, every word shapes your mind. When the final moment comes, your habitual tendencies will arise with unimaginable force. Do not think you can overcome decades of anger or greed in a single breath. Start today. Start now. Let not your mind be a blazing fire or a rushing river. Let it be calm, pure, and radiant. Then, when the final breath departs, you will not be reborn into suffering, but into peace, wisdom, and liberation. May your heart be cool like a lotus pond. May your mind be calm like a clear sky. May you be free from suffering and reach the ultimate peace of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.